We're back with the Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney, and if you'd like to see the first part of this interview, watch Power and Politics Sunday morning at 11:30. Good to have you again here with us, Ray. We are talking about all of the different revelations that have come out of your investigation, the accusations you're making now. Let's go back to that note that was recovered from Rex Heuermann's computer, and that document makes specific references to literature. This is the first time we are hearing about Heuermann potentially studying up on what he planned to do. What impact do you think that has on this investigation and how he went about his business, so to speak?
Well, based upon the contents of that document, we allege that the defendant was looking at, scholarship. Specifically, this was a book called Mindhunter, which was written by a FBI serial killer analyst. And he was looking at that book not to gain insight into the mind of a serial killer. He was looking to gain insight into how it is that investigators capture serial killers. So it was being used, in essence, to allow him to further hone his craft, so to speak.
And during the search at his home, another book called The Cases That Haunt Us, that was also found?
So the cases that haunt us, that was actually found in the document itself with regard to Mindhunter. Passages and pages were noted. And then if you take those passages and pages and compare it to the book, they match up.
Was this book out in the open, or was this kind of stashed away, not where the rest of the family would have seen it?
It was down in the basement with other personal belongings.
And then there have been reports that a book called Death Scenes, a Homicide Detective Scrapbook was also found at the home. Is that accurate?
There are a number of books that were recovered. I'm not familiar with all of them. I'd have to go through them.
When you look at all of the different devices that have been recovered, were they all essentially in the same location, in the basement? How does... I guess, the average person is thinking, how does one keep all this stuff, especially, in a typical suburban home? Where do you fit it all?
Well, the condition of the house was cluttered, and, it appears as though it doesn't appear, these devices were kept over a span of 20, 30 years. And they were really all over. They were, they were in business, at the home, and, basically just, kept because there were so many of them, just sort of in these locations.
We're talking 15 different types of cameras, 27 computers, 58 hard drives, cell phones, routers, SD cards, USB devices, laptops, hotel cards, the list goes on. Is it surprising that all of these items would be recoverable, considering the fact that when you look at the planning document, he has allegedly a methodical way he plans to go about discarding of evidence?
Well, with regard to all of those electronic devices, they show evidence of software being utilized to try to destroy the data on it and make it irretrievable. A lot of them are encrypted, but using our experts and software, we've been able to, notwithstanding that, retrieve some information.
How has the different levels of law enforcement, how have they worked together here? There's a new Suffolk Police Commissioner now. We know the history of the Gilgo case. Is everyone still on the same page?
Absolutely. I think we've fortunately had a little traction in the case, so I think that is encouraging to myself and all the other agencies, and I think our working relationship is great. And the reason why is because I think all of the various agencies, all the various investigators bring a little piece that when you put it together, we're able to make some significant headway. So we're very grateful to our partners because they're all doing a great job.
Has there been an effort in any way to shield information from one agency or another? And I ask because of the history.
Yeah, no, I think the best part about it is, it's no longer the DA's office or the PD or the FBI, it's the Gilgo Task Force. So we work out of a, physical plant. And so if you're in that physical plant, regardless of the agency you work with, that information is getting shared within the plant. So we're maintaining the integrity of the investigation, and we're sharing information.
Okay. Lastly, I want to go back to the second search of Heuermann's home, because there's a lot of fascination. Why are police back there? Why are investigators back at that home? There's been talk about the wood paneling. There's been talk about the ceiling in the basement. Talk about the process to go back in and then try to find evidence wherever it may be in a home that is in rough condition, it sounds like.
Yeah, so the house, there was a lot of things in the house, just a very cluttered house. So the initial search warrants get done in July. You retrieve all that information, you begin to cull through it and gather more information, more evidence, more evidentiary leads, continue to work through your case. And as you work through the case, you learn different information. And then with regard to that planning document, we're alleging through that planning document that we now have a specific methodology used. And now knowing that specific methodology, that gives us, the opportunity to go back and search more specifically. So that's what we did.
Okay. And in terms of the future, you have said time and time again, the investigation very much continues. Let's say ultimately you charge Rex Heuermann in the death of Valerie Mack or others. Do those get tied into the current case? Is there a timeline of when you'd have to say it's a different case? Because when you consider all the options here on Long Island, it seems like there's a lot more work to be done, quite frankly.
There absolutely is a lot more work to be done, and the answer to that specific question is it depends. But the only thing that we can do is we can continue to work. And when we talk about these cases, we said at the very beginning we were going to start at the Gilgo 4, and then once we concluded the investigation with regard to the Gilgo 4, we turned it over and to prove those allegations in court, and then expand the investigation to the other bodies on Gilgo and beyond. I think we've done that, and I think that's evidenced by this latest superseding indictment, which is charged the defendant with the murder of Jessica Taylor, who was found in part on Gilgo Beach, and the murder of Sandra Castilla, who was found not on Gilgo Beach. So we'll continue to work, but we're not looking at it as, specifically with regard to one defendant. We're looking at each of the separate cases, each of the separate crime scenes, and we're going to, work out from those crime scenes and see where it leads us.
Do you still plan to personally prosecute the case?
Yes.
And do you think there's an opportunity for a plea deal?
That's oftentimes that's out of control, outside of my control. So we're planning on trying the case, and we're anxious to do so.
All right, Suffolk District Attorney Ray Tierney, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.